Hello, everybody, and welcome back to falmunction Plays, the Beginner's Guide. We've left off at the beginning of Chapter 15, The Machine, and this might just be a crucial part in Coda's journey. So let's have a look what this guard is all about. Ma'am, glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine, it's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I tend to be quick, quiet, or brutal. Now that took a turn. Let's say brutal. I want to see what way he's going there. Very good. Just be warned, there's someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine: it calls itself Coda. Huh. So he himself is the machine, and now he's summoned an agent for his own destruction. This is... oh my god. Press. Well, they're pressing me, alright.
And of course, it's the machine.
So, is that what we've been doing all along? Has this always been what he thought of the player character as? Or is this just a turn? I never thought about the player as anybody else but Coda himself. But now we have this shift. You stopped. You stopped feeding us. Your work was keeping us alive. Your work was keeping us healthy. Work was keeping us healthy. Those people out there, can you imagine what pain you've put them through? It was only because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? Again, any of these, that's what people talk about walking simulators for, because none of these have probably any bearing on what's going to happen in the end, but they all give me sort of this choice, and I can then decide whatever I'm playing as. This time it's like just this player agent, what they feel about them. This is kind of... maybe this player is supposed to be another aspect of his personality, but also it could be, just what he thinks other people think about him and his work. So, okay, these people out there, can you imagine what pain you've put them through? I'm pretty sure he's talking to himself again. So here's what needs to happen. You need to go to the people who are out there and apologize to them. You have to admit to the people that you allowed them to suffer. I've been so alone. That's interesting. So, despite of what I just said, this actually looks like a choice now to me. 1, 2 looks sort of the same, but 3, I might expect like a branching path out of this. I don't know. I've been so alone. This sounds very... it doesn't sound productive to me. You have to admit to the people that you allowed them to suffer. No? Nothing? Think carefully, I know how it hurt you. I've seen the thing you fear. I want to know what you think that is, actually. Alright then, I'll speak to them for you. Okay. My followers or my friends? It falls on me to deliver bad news. I have a troubling revelation. The machine will not apologize to us. The machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us. Thing is, I don't think Coda deliberately hurts himself. Or maybe actually he might do. He might do just that. I think that's actually true. But he doesn't. We don't deserve an apology. But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. We will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. I think both is true. Somehow. Let us pay it retribution. Let us show it that we are not failures. Follow me, we will destroy the machine, or follow me, we will destroy everything that the machine has created. It's not a... I want to back out of this. This is really uncomfortable, just as David said. This shouldn't be the only two choices. But let's say Coda is real, and let's think of him like that as a real person. I think if you can't find, happiness in game making, you should maybe just let it go. Shouldn't destroy himself over it. There's the stage again. Seriously. Oh boy. Coda, I'll make sure your work dies here. Coda, I'll make sure you are known forever. What do you mean by make sure you're known forever?
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people.
Yes.
To get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work? So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. The point of it all is just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Put down your weapon. The thing with depression is, in my experience, you have to realize at some point, because either you think you're all alone, not just away from people, but also you're the only one who feels like this. That's like a very, very common thought to have. Either that, or like in a way that either I'm so much worse off than anybody else, or I'm so much better. Why am I not feeling better? It's one or the other. It's kind of this extreme. But what you need to realize is that, and we kind of come back to this teacher and student game we had there before, like in previous episodes, where we need to realize that the teacher is also a human being with flaws. You yourself have to realize that everybody else around you has these insecurities, and they have to live with them just as much as we do, or you yourself, if you're suffering. Maybe not as much, but everybody knows that feeling, and they can relate. And this is sometimes the way forward, is to realize that people are out there who can understand you, and you just need to be, you just need to be courageous enough to take that first step. And if people are, the same way, you have to also realize that, they're hiding these feelings just as much as you do. They're not just this huge oppressive mass of other that is keeping you from the world and from what you maybe aspire to, or what you think is going to make you happy. But the only thing you can do here is shoot the gun.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do?
I can't do anything else.
Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
I don't know about this. I don't know what to expect. I'm a little afraid.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Okay. It's not very well boding.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end.
Really?
But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
Kind of
the only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
The only thing I can think of is that maybe whatever it is over here, because it requires a password basically. Whatever it is we're gonna reach is very private to him, and we're not meant to be looking at it. This is kind of something he put up to guard himself from whatever, eyes might be looking at it. And that's, everything else until now, or until ever, because we don't know. David said he showed the work to other people, but he never said what Coda had to say about it, He only said that David was happy about it. And everything else has been private too so far. He only showed it to a very select group of people, and this apparently he only showed to David. So, but then again, he didn't tell David the combination, I guess. I guess he figured it out. And the maze as well. He had to mod it, I guess. So, I don't know if he intends for this to be shown to anybody.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
Is there actually a switch? Yes, there is.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011, I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
This is what I was afraid of. That the one thing he wouldn't let anybody know, and he wasn't comfortable sharing with anybody else, was this is, and it's quite overtly thoughts of killing himself. Pretty sure that's exactly what this means. So let's do what I guess he thinks he himself has to do. I don't see any other way to go from here. But I can't. I'm pressing the forward button. It doesn't let me move this way. Yeah, this is an invisible wall. I can't do it. Maybe if I go up here. No. I don't know. I guess I should feel relieved that he doesn't let himself do it. But maybe there's more to it. Keeps going up. Maybe this just represented his first attempt, or near attempt, of taking his life. Maybe not.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
Dear Davey, thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
Wow.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
I wonder at times whether you think that I'm making these games for you.
And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
You've so infected my personal space that it's possible I did begin to plan solutions in my work somewhere hidden between games. If there was an answer or meaning, would it make you any happier? Would you start taking my games and showing them to people against my wishes? Giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe. Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them? I always thought, well, I guess he means lampposts in a figurative sense, like giving them meaning that they don't maybe not really have. Oh boy. We just simply
And then
let
you
them
stopped.
be what they are.
And I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
When I'm around you, I feel physically ill. You desperately need something and I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it. Struggling to come up with these ideas is not making me desperate. Low points are just a part of the process. The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. I realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing you are wrestling. When you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.